gorgeous day, isn't it? It's beautiful. And some of you probably woke up this morning and you're like, oh, I really want to go hiking. It's a gorgeous day, but you decided to come here today, so thank you. Thank you for coming and for supporting and for showing up for your spiritual growth. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to place things that won't get Rob, is it okay if I place
that's what it's for too.
All right, just making sure. Just making sure. So you could be anywhere, but you're here. Welcome. I see some old friends and some new friends, so welcome. Thank you guys for showing up. Today we're talking about we are sacred. So each one of you are sacred. And I'm going to help you see yourself through that space. And the reason why is, how many of you think that out in the world that we're taught we're sacred? We're taught we're powerful, we're taught we can do anything, we're taught we can make all the changes in the world, that one person makes the difference. We're taught all that, right? Is that what happens out here? No. So if I could tell you you could live forever and ever and ever and ever with the way it is out here, would you want to live forever and ever in the space that's out here? No. But when I can show you that you're sacred and that you do make a difference and that you're powerful, that you're not fear-based and fear-driven, that you are inspired truly by the kingdom of God that is in you, the seed of the Creator that is in you, that you are connected, and that you can do anything that you set your mind to. And I mean anything. And I love it when I see the little ones. Because the little ones, before we're taught what we can't do, we know all the things we can do. We know that we can have the fairy tale world. We know that we can ride off into the sunset and live happily ever after in a dream world. We know that. And then when you get a little bit older, Ian, you're not taught that anymore, are you? You're not taught that you can live in a dream world. You're taught that you live in this world and you need to be in the reality of this. But what we see is not really reality. And I'm going to help you journey with me today. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for showing up today. Because you're showing that you're committed to your spiritual growth. This is your health, your spiritual health. Don't ever let anybody else be in charge of that. So if you'll do me a favor, and if you'll plant your feet on the ground and open your palms and close your eyes. Native Americans, we lift our face up towards the sun, to the Creator. If you feel like bowing your head, whatever speaks to you. But I want you to feel your breath. Feel it enter in your nose and breathe in fully and completely. Really feel how your belly expands and how your chest opens. And as you exhale, relax into the space of here and of now. Relax and let go of the thoughts, the worries, the concerns. And on your next inhalation, really feel at the end of that inhalation where you can't breathe anymore, how your chest is fully open and your shoulders are down and back and your heart space opens. And as you exhale, breathe away any last thoughts or concerns. Allow yourself to come here, to be fully present. Continue to focus on your breath and allow it to feel your chi, your prana, your inner self. The spirit, the soul. Let it awaken and revive, refresh. Creator, Great Spirit, Creator of all things, big and small, we come to you today in a good way, and we are only asking for good things. We come before you and we ask that our hearts be opened, and that for a moment we can forget any pain or trauma or fear. We can let it go and release it to you, and allow you to have this and to transmute this. Allow the earth energy to bring it back to us in love, compassion, and in gratitude. Great Spirit, Mahio, Tenkashala Wakatanka. We ask for the four directions to come with us. The east where the sun rises and the great awakening begins. And the eagle flies to bring us clarity. We ask that we become clear in our lives today and in the messages that we receive. We ask for your breath, the breath of Mother Earth, to be kept sacred and healed. And that as we breathe fully and completely, allowing our self to be re-energized. Great Spirit, we ask you for the direction of the south, where the fire burns inside of us, that fire be ignited. It only takes a spark. Let today be that spark for us, and let our fire burn for others to light off of. Bring the intelligence of the wolf that teaches us how to live in community in a good way, how to live with all of our brothers and our sisters, to be kind and gentle. We ask for the direction of the west, where our ancestors go to rest. They lay their physical bodies down. Let us not be so connected to the physical body, but to our spiritual body. Bring us the strength of the bear, and the courage, and the nurturing, so that we may show the little ones, the younger ones, how to live in a good way. Let the water that flows in the earth be healed, and the waters that flow in us be ignited with kindness and compassion and joy, and with your love. We ask for the direction of the north to bring us the wisdom of the great white buffalo. Let our knowledge be transmuted into wisdom, so that we may understand not just our walk, but that we may have compassion for others. No matter where we are on our walk, we're exactly where we need to be. Give us the wisdom to accept this, and keep us connected and grounded to Mother Earth. Let us be her voice, protect her. Let us receive these messages in a good way. We ask this in the name of all that is, so it shall be. Amen. Ho! I love you. Such good spirits, such great energy. How can we see the sacredness in us when we walk in a world that doesn't teach us how to see that sacredness? How can we really see it when we're bogged down with our families and our work, when we're bogged down with worries, when we look at the government and the communities that are suffering, and we look at war and we see people hurt? How can we learn that we are sacred? We talk a lot in here about all the different spiritual books. And I always talk about this one verse that I love, that I say to myself every day to remind myself how to stay sacred, to remind myself that I am sacred. In the Bible, it says in Luke, and this is where Jesus was actually talking to the Pharisees, just to let you know what was going on. But it says, "Neither shall they say, Lo here or lo there, for behold, the kingdom of God is where?"
Within you.
Within. So I have a question for you. Do you search within? Do we teach our little ones to search within? Or do we teach them to ask everyone else, what would you do in this situation? What would you do? When we get in trouble, what do? We pick up the phone, we start calling our family members, and we start calling our friends, and we say, what would you do? And what would we? And we start looking for the answers here. When in actuality, the answers are here. Now, some of the Bibles that you see today don't say the kingdom of God is within. It says the kingdom of God is in your midst. M-I-D-S-T. This is taken from the King James Version from Bible Hub, just to let you know. And the reason why is because I have a Bible from 17 1756. Sorry, I had to look at Scout. And it's different from the Bible that we pick up today. And so I ask you, no matter what spiritual book you're looking at, whether it is the Book of Mormon, the Bible, which most of the people in this area will use, the Bhagavad Gita, the Torah, the Quran, the Kabbalah, it does not matter what spiritual book you look to. I ask that you look to it first from a perspective of going within. I'm not here to tell you what to believe today. I'm just here to make you question. If something I say resonates with you, take it. Allow it to work with you. If something I say to you doesn't resonate, then it's not about you, is it? Maybe it's about the person sitting to your right or your left or behind you or in front of you. Because this place is for all walks of life. It's for all belief systems. So if you look, you can look at Eckhart Tolle. How many of you know who he is? Eckhart Tolle is I love him. I love him. I do. And if you don't know his story, most great spiritual teachers come from a story of trauma, just to let you know. And because trauma tends to awaken us. When we're down in the depths and that's when all of a sudden something inside of us ignites and says, look here and stop looking there. So I love this. And this says, you're not in the universe. You are the universe. An intrinsic part of it. Ultimately, you are not a person, but a focal point where the universe is becoming conscious of itself. What an amazing miracle. And when you all agree, no matter what your belief system is, whether you're Christian, whether you're Wiccan, whether you're Druid, whether you're Jewish, whether you're Muslim, it does not matter. When you agree that every religion right now says we're at this precipitous moment of consciousness, of a change, of a great happening of some sort. So we all agree, but we're too busy fighting with each other. We're too busy saying, I'm right and you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. I get it all the time. I had somebody come in here and look at the space and say, are you confused about what you believe? Like, what is all this? Don't you know Jesus is the only way? My belief system is there are many paths to one destination. Many paths. God teaches you. The Creator teaches you. So for you, Jesus may be the only way. For someone else, it may be Buddha. For someone else, it may be Gandhi. Do you understand? So we all have to have compassion that if I've heard something and it resonates with me, it means, in my belief system, in Native American spirituality, we believe we come here many times. And actually, reincarnation was in the Bible until 330 AD. And so for those of you who may have studied the Bible a lot, you may have gotten bits and pieces of it. And it was changed. And it was changed because the king was trying to tell people if they didn't do a certain thing, they would be put to death. And the people were like, well, I'll just come back. So, okay. And the Bible actually it alludes to that even now because it says there are many members to one body. There are many members to one body.
It also says you have to be born again many, many times. And of course that's interpreted by the Christians in one way. But it says those words many times, you must be born again.
And so you interpret, I love that word, you interpret based on you, right? So what I try to do is I try to show you different things. I'm not here to say one religion is better, one religion is worse. We're all seeking in our own way. If Jesus speaks to me, I love Jesus. I do. Jesus is my brother. I love him. I love Buddha. Oh my goodness, I love Buddha. I adore Buddha. But so for me, there are so many different paths that I can see everybody is working to getting to that place. So we're at this consciousness. We're at this major pivotal shift. Can you feel it? Can you feel that something is shifting and building and growing? And can you feel some people come in here and they're just like, what is going on? I feel like everything is falling apart. And it kind of is because we're being broken apart so that we can be placed back together again the way we originally were meant to be. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So for me, for what I believe, may be a little different than what you believe. So I may say something today that doesn't resonate. Take what resonates, but question everything. I'm seeing a lot of children grow up, and they're staying in the same belief system, not because it resonates with them, but because, well, my mom was, and my grandmother was, and my grandfather was, and my great-grandmother was, and my great-grandfather was, and they don't question. And that is the absolute, spiritually, the only way you can see yourself as sacred is if you question. If you don't question, you can never arrive. So you must learn to question everything. If I say something, I love it when I get the emails that says, wait a minute, where'd you find that? Where'd that come from? Can you tell me where you got that? Can you give me the source? And so what I've started to try to do is put it actually on the slides so that you know where the source came from. So in my tradition, the Cree have a saying, yes, love.
Just wanted to add something about Carpelle's quote. A Muslim, Sufist Muslim poet, Rumi, he said, you are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop. It's basically the same thing recycled over and over again.
And that was said by?
Rumi, 1200s.
Uh-huh. Do you, who knows Rumi? Rumi, I love Rumi. That's another one I love. So there are so many of these spiritual people that have come that resonate with me. Pick what resonates with you and question it and dig there. And this is where you'll find you're sacred because your body is sacred. This is sacred. This is sacred. Do you treat it sacred? Do you get enough sleep? Do you eat when you're hungry? Or do you say, no, I'm too busy. I'm doing this, I got this, I'm working here. I don't have. Are you giving it what it needs? Are you listening to when it says to you, let me rest? Or do you lay in bed and say, oh, I got this to do, I got that to do. This is sacred. This body. Are you exercising it? Are you walking? Are you allowing the blood to flow? Are you using the muscles? We were meant to work the land. That's how we were meant. Originally, when we came here, was to make the earth beautiful and to continue that beauty. So we were hunters and gatherers, right? And so we used our physical body. When we came here to have a physical experience, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. We're learning how to stay spiritually strong and connected while we walk in this form. And that can be a challenge, wouldn't you agree? It can be a challenge. So I'm going to invite you today, when your body says, let me rest, rest. When your body says, I'm hungry, eat. When your body says, wow, I'm all knotted, move, walk, work out. You don't have to be a part of a gym. The earth is your gym. There are so many trees. I still climb trees to this day. Put me in a pair of tennis shoes and out with a good climbing tree, and I am happy.
To say our ranch is a good gym. The horses are.
The horses volunteer. Their horse rescue that they volunteer at is amazing. Volunteer. Go to the Conscious Living Center. Volunteer on the land. Volunteer with the horses. Volunteer. When it is a Native American sweat lodge, come early. Help us. The Friday before, we always are building new things to make it better so that we can have a changing house and a meeting house, so that we're not just sitting out when it's cold. Do something for your physical body. I love this quote, and this is actually a Crow Proverbs, and it says, you already possess, what's this word? Everything necessary to become great. You do. Do you know that? Do you really know that in your heart? Do you know how great you are? We question it, don't we? We get stuck out there. Even the ones that have been walking this path for a long time, we get stuck out there sometimes and we start looking at the TV. How many of you watch TV? Be honest. I'm not gonna yell at you, I promise. Okay. Now, so there is Marilla says, I don't! I'm gonna yell at you! I love you, Mary. So, when we eat sustenance, it's for our physical body, right? When we're watching something, we're feeding our spiritual body, our mental body, our emotional body. When we hear something, we're feeding our mental body, our emotional body, and our spiritual body. And that manifests in our physical body. Every illness first started out on the outskirts in a spiritual way. And when left unresolved, it comes closer and closer and closer until it manifests in a physical way. To bring, it's not a bad thing. The illness isn't a bad thing. How many of you have heard of someone who is beat cancer? How many of you have heard of somebody that beat cancer? We got some people among us. Let's give them a big round of applause. Do you know why? Why is it that some do and some don't? You have to understand that a lot of it has to do with your belief in what you can do. And then not only do you believe that you can do it, are you connecting and asking for it and knowing that the creator of all things can bring it to you, the creator that is in you can bring it to you, and knowing, having, what was that? What was it? Faith unsinkable. Faith unsinkable. How many of you are listening to words? Words. Now, I was doing this thing once, and I said, you know, words create. Your words create. They do. They create. What are you speaking? Speak it into fruition. What are you speaking? You create. And somebody said, wait a minute, I can sit here and I can say, you know, good fortune, good fortune, good fortune, good fortune. Or I can say bad luck, bad luck, bad luck, bad luck. And it doesn't mean anything. I said, really? And you know so much. I've only studied this my entire life. I've had how many PhDs? But you know more than I know. I get it. Everybody, let's just come on up here and why don't you teach? And the person's face turned blood red. And you could feel, and everybody got nervous, and their feet started twitching, and the people in the hall started, oh, what was that? And I said, I am so sorry. That was uncalled for. I'm so sorry. And you felt them calm down, and I said, that's the answer to your question. It was only words. It was only words. What I just spoke to you was only words. But it had a dramatic effect on you, didn't it? Do you see? Words affect you. And I'm going to ask for Andrew and Ian, and I just want you to take note of how you feel right now. Just take note of how you feel right at this moment. You feel? Okay. Are you tapped into how you're feeling? Good, bad, and ugly. How are you feeling? Tap into it. Andrew, Ian, and Rob, will you come up here for a moment? I'm going to ask everybody to stand for me. And I'm going to show you something. Okay? Okay. And the words that are this, Andrew, will you just speak them for everybody so that everybody can start speaking them with him when he's going to tell you what they are so that you can do this. And I want you to stand. And I want you to get louder. 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 Okay?
Okay. Joy unspeakable.
Joy unspeakable.
Faith unthinkable.
Faith unthinkable,
Unthinkable.
unthinkable.
Love unstoppable.
Love unstoppable.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Okay? So they're going to sing it, and when you can, join in with them. And I want you to get louder and louder and louder.
Joy unspeakable, faith unthinkable, love unstoppable, anything is possible. Joy unspeakable, faith unthinkable, love unstoppable, anything is possible. Joy unspeakable, faith unthinkable, love unstoppable, anything is possible. Joy unspeakable. Faith unthinkable, love
I typically don't do this. Nope. No, I don't.
There.
So
Yeah.
let
Are we getting louder? Louder than ever? Louder than the first song?
Yes,
So we can hear it
yes.
to the God?
So you can't hear the drums. It's battle.
That's good.
A voice versus drum battle. I only got 5, so
All right.
You guys got some
There
lyrics
we
now.
One, two, three. Joy unspeakable, faith unthinkable, love unstoppable, anything is possible. Joy unspeakable, faith unthinkable, love unstoppable, anything is possible. Joy unspeakable, faith unthinkable, love unstoppable, anything is possible.
And how do you feel? They were only words. They were only words. They were only words. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. They were only words. Do you wake up every day and tell yourself that? Every day. Do you feel different? Do you feel different than when before we sang?
Yes.
Do you understand? It affects you because you are sacred and you absorb everything. Are you telling yourself that anything is possible? Are you telling yourself you are powerful? Are you telling yourself you are strong? Are you telling yourself joy is abundant in my life? Are you telling yourself only good things happen to me? Or are you feeding your mind and your emotion and your spiritual being with what's going on in the newspaper, what's going on in the news, what's going on with TV, and then we ask, why is my life not where I want it to be? Input equals output, right? That makes sense, doesn't it? Input something in the computer, you get an output. Input something in your brain, you get an output. Because what do? We're always analyzing. We're like big, huge, super mega computers. We're analyzing all the time. So when we get to this space where we're analyzing all the time, we have to remember that we're analyzing everything that we're putting in. Everything. So I'm going to share with you some things of what is possible. There are superheroes among us, and you're one of them. Bet you didn't know it. There are some shirts that I put on that I go, what do? Scale.
You go, today is going to be superhero day.
I do. I put on some shirts and I'm like, this is this is my superhero shirt. Okay? So I'm going to show you some things to break your barriers of the mind that you've put on yourself. Because those barriers did not come from the Creator. They did not come from God. They came outside of that source. And you have bought into them, and you believe them because you started being told them when you were Mariella's age. We weren't born thinking what we couldn't do. We were born thinking we could do all things. So, let's talk about our first superhero. This Ben Underwood, he uses echolocation. Go on to the next slide. And how does that work? He was blinded as a child. And so he developed an extraordinary ability to see his environment by clicking his tongue, a lot like dolphins communicate with the clicks. Okay? By clicking his tongue against his teeth, he would then draw a mental image of his surroundings by evaluating the returning echo. So again, used by whales and dolphins. Can you imagine? Now, some people would say that's impossible, right? He can actually draw pictures of his surroundings that are very accurate from the clicking. Amazing, right? How many of you are sitting here thinking that's a superhero? Okay, click to the next one. Daniel Paul Tammet, the man with the incredible brain. Now, you may not know who he is, but let me tell you a little bit about who he is. He suffers. I love this. Suffers. Now, some of you are going to see that and be like, I'd like to suffer like that. But from a higher functioning autism, which means he has gifts normally associated with autism, but none of the handicaps. He holds the European record for reciting pi from memory, 22,514 digits, a task he accomplished in a mere 5 hours and 9 minutes. Click to the next one. This is a picture of him. His brain is said to operate like a supercomputer, capable of number-crunching vast sums in record times. He also speaks, get this, 10 languages, which he learned Icelandic in a week. Now, how many of you would love to suffer with something like that? I don't know about you, but I don't think that's suffering. I think that that's incredible, and I think that every single one of us have that capability. Every single one of us have that capability. We have to learn how to unlock it. That's all. Click to the next one. Okay. Do you see his eyes? His eyes they're shining lights in his eyes right now. They're just putting a light so you can see how green it looks. Click to the next one. He was born with the ability to see almost in complete darkness. So he has no problem navigating at night without any lights. His eyes are an unusual shade of blue, but they reflect neon green like cats when you shine a light on them. Click to the next. This gentleman is known as Iceman, and some of you may know who he is. He has a lot of YouTube videos. He practices a form of Tibetan meditation, which increases the fire inside his body. He has broken the world record by running a marathon in the Arctic. In the Arctic. How many of you know what the Arctic is? I just bringing you home to it. With nothing but shorts and sandals. Okay? His record for sitting in ice, 72 minutes. He has climbed Mount Kilimanjaro in his shorts. Click to the next one. That's him. That's ice, by the way. Click to the next one. This gentleman is a human battery. Click to the next one. Okay, he actually withstood a staggering 20,000 volts to the body. His second record saw him heat up a glass of water to 97 degrees in 1 minute and 37 seconds. Click to the next one. Look, he's lighting a light bulb with his mouth. Now, how many of you are sitting here going, click to the next one. He can light up an electric bulb, cook a raw sausage, or set alcohol-soaked clothes ablaze with his body. That's not somebody you want to make mad, by the way. Just saying. He has no sweat or sour. You guys, thank you. And scientists suggest that electricity doesn't really pass through his body, but rather passes on the outside of his skin, which acts as a natural form of insulation. Now, I could believe that if only I had not seen him put those things inside his mouth. Yes?
Since we've got Qigong coming, Tumi is like a form of Qigong. It incorporates breathing, and it also incorporates meditation. And that's how the Iceman is able to get in touch with his body and increase his circulation and increase the oxygen that comes into his body. So if you're thinking Qigong is just a meditation or just a form of exercise, it's a lot more than that.
Yes, it is. And actually part of the psychic development class that we teach, once you get to a certain level, not in the first 3 months you won't be able to do this, but you will be able to light light bulbs with your hands by increasing your own energetic flow, getting in touch. Some people will call it Kundalini. You know, there's different different ways of viewing that, but it's by holding on, okay? And it's by using your own internal electricity to light that. So click to the next one, and the next. Now this gentleman was studied actually in a hospital for 10 days to make sure what he had said was true. We're moving quick through it. He has lived without food or water for 65 years.
It looks like a joke.
Without food or water, here's why. Let's think about it. Let's just bring it home for a minute. What's happening to our food supply? What's happening to our water supply? Is it being tainted, poisoned, genetically modified? Okay, so if ever food were to become scarce, wouldn't you love the ability, if you so choose, to not have to have that to be able to withstand your physical body? So he says he was blessed by the goddess Amba. Since then, he has lived off nectar that trickles down through a hole in his palate, inside. So not off a tree, or in his own body. Click to the next one. So in 2003, they actually studied him for 10 days, put him in the hospital, 24-hour watch. He never ate, drank, urinated, or had a bowel movement. Well, if you're not inputting, then the output.
Self-contained.
Yeah, you're pretty much a self-contained being. Exactly. Click to the next one. This gentleman, he is known for oxygen depletion. And he has climbed Mount Everest 10 times, all without any supplemental oxygen, which if you know how high Mount Everest is, elevation sickness, any hikers are in here? Okay, I'm a hiker. I love mountains, so I'm an outdoorsy. You get up so high, you get up too high, and you will physically become ill because you don't have enough oxygen to feed your body, and so your body will make you stop where you're at so you don't continue up. Okay, so he is above sea level, has only a third of the oxygen available at ground level, a third. So think of breathing a third of the time. 1/3 of the time. Can you do that? Doesn't feel right, does it? Click to the next one. This gentleman is an extreme climber. He is the most extreme rock climber in the world, and he hails from Indian state of, and I cannot pronounce that, so do not ask me to.
Karnataka.
Thank you. He is the only person to have scaled Karnataka's highest waterfall, the 830 feet jog falls, a feat he accomplished without safety harness while he was climbing against the water flow. So he had no hook-ins. I rock climbed for a while. I never did it though.
Climbs in the waterfall.
Inside the waterfall.
Wow.
Click to the next one.
What?
Oh, what? Yes, okay, and the reason why we wanted to get the people down below is so that you could see that it wasn't like we didn't take a picture sideways. You know, so the people down below are the right place and he's hanging on. Click to the next. He has an inhuman ability to stick to vertical surfaces upside down and to move with lightning speed from one perch to the next. I don't know about you, but you will not catch me doing that. You will not catch me doing that. If you want to do it, I would say please make sure there is a trampoline at the bottom that will catch you. Click to the next one. This gentleman, amazing. I saw a video, and a lot of these you can find on YouTube, just to let you know if you want to watch the videos. He is an extreme diver, and he can dive up to 90 feet and stay underwater for 5 minutes. He is about this big around, and when he's underwater, he's walking across the ocean floor. It's amazing to watch. Amazing. 5 minutes. Again, it's because these people have connected in, and they have learned how to do that. Click to the next. So this is him. Click to the next. This is him when he was little. Isn't that beautiful? Wouldn't you just love your kids to, how many kids don't go outside anymore, much less go in an ocean or a lake? I was outside so much, as long as I could hear my daddy's big long I was fine, you know. We didn't have street lights. My hometown still doesn't have a red light to this day at all. So we didn't have anything that we were like, oh, it was the whistle that told us. So click to the next.
I'm pretty sure you have children. I'm pretty sure you freak out if your child is holding on to that shark.
It's just
I've seen you freak out.
Sharks are actually they get a very bad rap. Just like, how many of you have heard pit bulls? Pit bulls, bad rap. I've had 3 pit bulls. They're beautiful. They're great with kids. They're used as nannies in Germany. You get a bad dog, it's because you got a bad human. That's what I'll tell you. You know, the sharks, if we keep depleting the shark's food source, they don't like humans. That's why they don't eat you all. They take a bite and they try to spit it out because they're like, bleh, what is that? That's awful. But if we keep raping the oceans and taking their food, and then we jump in there, well, you're pretty much kind of asking, a hungry animal is going to be a hungry animal. Click to the next one. This gentleman ran a marathon, click to the next one, in every single one of the 50 states in 50 days. He finished in New York and decided to run home to San Francisco. That's what I said. Forrest Gump. Run, Forrest, run. Click to the next one. This gentleman can stick, click to the next. He can stick steel to his body. He is pulling that car, by the way, just because it's hooked to him, he's pulling the car because everything's steel he can stick to his body. Click that one, scalp. See? There you go. Amazing, right?
Yeah.
Another thing that you learn in one of the psychic development courses is how to manipulate energy to bend steel, spoons, forks, knives. Again, it's a way to teach you how to learn how energy flows. The Creator gave you this energy. This is your energy. This is your spirit. Your spirit is energy. Like when we lose our clothing, some people can see the disembodied energies and others people can't. The people that can see outside the 1% of the visual spectrum can see. But those that cannot can't. Just like those that can hear outside the 1%. Does that make sense? Click to the next. This gentleman, I watched a video of him. I would encourage you to go out and see this video, by the way. And click to the next one. He has superhuman abilities. He was standing there and they shot a BB gun at him from 50 feet away. He pulled his sword out and sliced the BB, yes, the BB, in half.
Oh, man.
In half. In half. In half. Right there's where, that's actually, you'll see it on the video. That's where he's hitting it. So most people can't react when there's a gunshot, right? They don't have time to react. He not only reacted, he cut the BB in half. Click to the next. This gentleman has a photographic memory. So you see the background? He drew that off of just flying over New York City. Flip to the next. He also flew over Tokyo, Rome, Hong Kong, Dubai, and New York City skylines, and this is what he drew off of his memory. And they scaled it, and it was accurate. Click to the next. And again, he is considered to be autistic. His first words didn't come out until he was 5, and his first 2 words were pen and paper.
Wow.
He knew what he wanted, he just needed to get it out. So click to the next. This gentleman, click. He is the ability to be able to combust spontaneous, catch things on fire. I've shown you guys a video before of someone who could do that. He also can evaporate water. Okay, click to the next. Qigong practitioners, here we did, yep, demonstrate abilities using Qi to break boards or take powerful hits. Click to the next. This, yes, I want to see all of you do that next. I want to see you tap into that ability and do that next Sunday. Click to the next. Or you could pick this one. If you
can do that too.
Yes, if you'd like to, you could do this. He's the most flexible man. He's a trained contortionist. He uses superhuman flexibility to bring the magnetic appeal, PF contortion, to a new level. He currently holds 7 records. Click to the next. So, you are sacred. We just showed you how many people that can do superhuman things, and you can. But you must first believe that you can. That saying, if you think you can't, you're right. But if you think you can, you can. And we say a lot of things like, this is what we say to ourselves. I can't figure it out. I'm too tired. It's impossible. Nobody loves me. I can't forgive myself. It's not worth it. I'm not smart enough. Not able. I can't go on. I can't do it. I can't manage. I'm afraid. I feel low. How many of you, be honest, have said one of those or a lot of those to yourself? I admit it. I admit it. Yep. But this is what the Creator says. I will direct your steps. I will give you rest. All things are possible. In every spiritual book, it talks about that. Every spiritual book. The Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, all of them. And yet, we sit and hear everybody tell us over and over that it's impossible. And even the people that are using the books are telling us it's impossible. I just love it when somebody reads me something out of one of the books and then they say, and what that means. And I'm like, no. It means what it means, and I'm going to interpret it the way I know to interpret it. Does this make sense? I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm here to make you question. Anything is possible. I love you. I forgive you. It will be worth it. I will give you wisdom. I am able. My grace is sufficient. You can do all things. Again, you can find that in every spiritual book. I will supply all your needs. I have not given you fear. How many of you fear? It does. I want to let you know that doesn't come from the Creator. It doesn't. That energy is not an energy that comes from the Creator. The energy of love and compassion, gratefulness, kindness.
It sounds so much better when you see the whole thing, though. I just got to say, on 2 Timothy 1 or 7 there, the words after is, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. I love that. You got to say the rest.
Absolutely. Power, love, and sound mind. Power. Do you know you're powerful? Do you know you are powerful? Do you know you are sacred? Are you committed to your sacredness? The first thing is you got to bring it into your conscious awareness, right? We first must bring it here to be able to accept it and to be able to say, wait a minute, yes, I know that I need, to be more quiet. I know I need to focus more. I need to meditate more. I need to pray more. I know that these are the things that I need to do to be able to fully embrace my sacredness, but I find all the reasons why I can't. Somebody said to me one time, and I got really angry when they did say it, just to let you know. This was many, many years ago. They said, excuses are the lies you tell yourself that nobody else believes. All those excuses you're coming up with, oh no, I got to work, I got to do this, I got to do that, I can't meditate. I don't have time to practice an art form, whether it's yoga or qigong or tai chi. I don't have time to practice meditation. I don't have time to, because I'm too busy. You're too busy will take your life without you ever being able to realize how sacred you are. So today, are you dedicated to your spiritual health? Only you can answer this question. And I've struggled with this, and I'll tell you why I struggled with this. When we're dedicated to something, we spend what? Our time on it, right? When it's a priority of ours, we spend our time there, don't we? Right? If your family's a priority, you spend your time there. Okay? You also spend your money there, don't you? I spend money to give my children stuff. Or I spend money to read spiritual books, or go to spiritual workshops, or at my church, or my place of worship, or my house of knowledge. I spend my time and my money in these places. This is where my priority is. And so I've struggled with this, and I'm going to share with you, because I got to thinking when I was doing this, I was like, okay, am I spending my time and my money and my energy in those places? And I started evaluating. Where do I spend my time and my money and my energy? Because we can lie to ourselves, can't we? But when you make a list of where you're spending your time and your money and your energy, and you look at it, it doesn't lie. So if you wonder where you're spending your time, your money, and your energy, where your priorities really are, make a list over this next week, couple weeks, month, of where you spend your time and your money. And that will tell you where your priority is. Is it on your spiritual life? Is it there? If it's not, do you want it to be there? You may not. You may be at a place in your life where you're like, no, I really don't want to be, so I'm going to do this. Because I've had people say, Selena, you know, we love coming, we want to come to Soul Medicine, but every time we walk out the door, we keep forgetting to put money into the donation box. Because we get excited because we've seen everybody we love. Can you just pass a plate? And I kept saying, no, I'm not going to pass a plate because I do not want people to feel pressured to give money. This is not what this place is about. I'm not going to do it. And all of a sudden somebody said, that's your stuff. That's not my stuff. I want you to pass a plate so I can stick something in there so that I don't feel so bad when I leave and I get home and I'm like, I did it again. And you're taking that opportunity away from me because you have a problem with passing the plate. And I did. I had a problem because I had been to places that, has anybody been to places where they felt pressured? I never want to feel that way. I never want people to come in here and say, well, I don't have anything to give, so I can't go. No. That's when you should go. You should be there because you're struggling and you need help. You need to be lifted. You need to walk out and have love and compassion. And then I got thinking and I said, okay, how many of you love coffee or hot tea? Okay, how many of you go to a coffee shop? Okay, I went to Starbucks twice a day for a long time. For a very long time. And I just didn't get a plain coffee. I got a white chocolate mocha brede. What? A venti. In the morning and in the afternoon. Until I couldn't figure out why my pant sizes were going up. And then somebody said, do you know one of those has like 900 calories in it? And I went, oh. And then I cut down to one and then I cut. But I realized that I was dedicated to my coffee to the point where I would find, I don't care if it was in between paychecks, I would find to be able to go get my coffee because I was dedicated. And somebody used that with me and said, are you just as dedicated to your spiritual health as you are to your coffee? And I thought, I don't like you. Really, I'm not liking you. And this was years ago because I kept saying I wanted to be on the spiritual walk. I wanted to be on the sacred walk. I wanted to be on the spiritual walk. And I was walking and I was doing it. Not to that level. I wasn't making sure I was getting up in the morning and meditating every morning and in the afternoon or the evening meditating, but I was making sure I was getting my coffee in the morning. Does that make sense? So it really hit me in my gut, but after I got past the being angry, because that, you know, angry is not a good vibration, then I realized, okay, I can either decide to make choices that I won't be angry about when I look at them or not. So I encourage you, look at your life. Are you? What are you dedicated to? I'm not saying you need to be dedicated to your spiritual life. Do you want to be dedicated to your spiritual life? I have no judgment on it. If you want, then are you doing? If you want a new job, are you doing what you need to get there? Are you sitting back just waiting for somebody to come in and give you a new job? Well, we can pray all day long, and the Creator goes, meet me halfway and go put in an application or send your resume. For the love of all that's good and right in the world. I can't bring it to you if you don't send your resume out there. You know? Does that make sense? So whatever you're saying I'm dedicated to, the one thing that I do want you to be dedicated to is seeing yourself as sacred. See yourself as sacred. Yes?
May I get the donation box and pass it?
That makes me really uncomfortable, but yes, you may pass the donation box if you'd like to. I will tell you, if you do not have money to ever drop into a donation box, I don't want anybody to look to your right or to your left at who's putting in what. And I don't want you to look at a dollar bill or a $5 bill or a $20 bill or a $100 bill. I don't want you to take note of anything else besides you. And here's why. So many of us, how many of you have ever heard, come to any kind of gathering, and you heard something, and you sat there and you hit the person next to you, and you said, so-and-so should be here. So-and-so. How many have done that? How many have done it? Raise your hand. If you're not raising your hand, you fibbing because we've all done it. So-and-so should be here. So-and-so should be here. And sometimes we're doing it in a good way, like, oh God, so-and-so would love this, so-and-so. And sometimes we're like, oh, so-and-so needs to hear that. So how many of you done that? I used to do that. So-and-so needs to be here. It's us that needs to be there. And we get focused on somebody else should be there and we miss some of our messages. So if nothing else, if you take nothing from today, this is the one thing I want you to take. And if you want to write it down, write it down. We will put it on the Soul Medicine channel, just to let you know. I want you to realize that you are powerful beyond words. You are an angel in human form. You do make a difference, and you can change what's going on out here. Are you being a part of the solution? Or are you being a part of the problem? And when I say that, it is, are you using your power and your energy to lift the vibration out there, to speak love and compassion and kindness? I call everybody love. Somebody said, why do you do that? And I said, because I think that word is so amazing, and I think when I use it with people, it makes them stop for a second and think. It gives the vibration. It's speaking it to fruition. Does that make sense? So I ask you, are you getting caught up in Ebola and I'm going to be sick and dead? And do you understand? Are you getting caught up in that, or are you saying, I'm going to sit and push as much love and as much goodness out into the world? I am going to be the frequency that when I walk into a room, people change into a higher frequency instead of me being pulled into that. Or do I walk into a room and hear somebody complaining about something that's going on in the news and I join right in there with them? I'm right there with them. Yeah, can you believe that?
Say that again, I'm gonna get my video.
It's true. Oh gosh, the tangent time. We forgot to put the tangent time. This is my tangent time. She came up with an awesome. Harmony came up with a what is it? A jingle that sounds like a chipmunk, and it's tangent time, please, under tangent time. This is my tangent time. I always have one tangent time in every gathering, and this is it. Are you jumping into that? Are you? That is a question for you. I do it. I have a problem right now because a lot of people are being harmed by people in power. And my brother is a police officer, and I adore, and I know that there is a place for that, but I think excessive force is being used a lot, and people are being harmed in a bad way. And I hear people talking about that, and I'll find myself going into that direction and wanting to complain about it. And I'm like, no, I don't want to complain about it. What I want to do is push love and compassion and ask that the creative spark, the kingdom of God that's within our leaders, our government, our authority figures, the police department, the fire department, that spark is ignited. And every time I get around a police officer, I can't even tell you how much I just love and compassion, love and compassion. Because guess what? Your frequency ignites that frequency in other people. How many of you know somebody that they come into a room and you just, like Rhonda, her smile, I love it. She comes into a room, she laughs, and I'm telling you, it just makes you feel so much better, you immediately. How many of you know somebody like that? That when you come in the room, just laugh, they make me feel so good. And how many of you know the people that when you come in the room, you're like, oh. I mean, I've actually walked into a room like, because I felt it. Or you come into a room and there may be two people in there and they're not talking at the time, but you just know that something just happened, because there is just, you could cut it with a knife, because it ignites that frequency in you. You're either going to ignite the frequency of love and compassion and gratitude, joy, and others, or you're going to let them ignite the fear, the anger, the hatred, the rage, the mine is better than yours attitude. Does that make sense? So I ask you today to be that beacon. I ask you to be the beacon that changes the frequency. When you get around somebody, like you may get around a police officer, and automatically all those seeing what is going on in the news and on Facebook, and it's atrocious, it is, I get it. But are you feeling that when you get around them, and so you're igniting more of that frequency in them, or are you pushing love and compassion into them? Does that make sense? If you get around somebody you struggle with, I invite you to do this test. Every night when you say your prayers or you meditate, or like I meditate, I'll send love love and gratitude, I'll see everything working out the best way, the right way, the kind way. When I get around them and they try to, they try to eat at you. Any of you have an eat? It might be your job that you. The more that they try, I breathe, I focus on my breath and sending love, and all of a sudden they start shifting. And it starts falling away. I invite you to do that. Bill's got somebody to report.
Send them some love.
Sending him love. Sending him love. I want you to see this, and the reason why I want you to see this, how many of you know collective evolution? It comes on up on Facebook a lot, collective evolution. If you don't know that, it's shown around the world. They do blogs. It's all about energy. It's all about the consciousness shift. And the guy that started it, I just want you to hear his story. He was a guy that, he came out of high school not knowing what he wanted to do. So he went into college because everybody else was doing it, even though he didn't want to do it. He was like, why am I going? He went the first year, he changed his degree. The second year, he changed his degree. And the third year, he changed his degree. He finally found himself sitting across on a couch with his therapist because he had dipped into a severe depression, like severe. This is when you know that you're hitting a brick wall and that the Creator is trying to send you in a different direction. And you keep saying, no, I said I was going to be the CEO of an international company and I'm not going to be a spiritual person. That was my walk. I said I was going to do this, I'm going to do this. When you start, you don't wake up going, I'm so glad for the day. You don't wake up saying, oh, I can't wait to go to work. That's your spirit telling you, change directions. So he told his therapist, and his therapist said, you know it's okay to not go to college, right? You know that's okay, but you can stop. So he went home that day and he told his mom he was never going back. His mom said, well, you explain that to your dad. And walked away. He started collective evolution, and it boomed. It is shown in 60 some odd countries. It is, and it's because as soon as he started that, his depression went away. They did a study, and they saw that this university did a study that this and this line right here, this is the number of historical events, either unrest or conflict or great times where there was a consciousness shift and there was a huge peace shift. And they found it was in direct correlation to the amount of solar flares that occurred. Every peak matched a peak in the solar flares. And now science has caught up and said when the sun lets out a solar flare, that it actually carries energy with it, right? And so we're bombarded with this energy, and this energy is helping us shift. It's helping us move from the consciousness development of mine, hate, rage, anger, mine, to ours, love, compassion, peace. It's what Buddha, it's what Jesus, it's what Gandhi, all these spiritual people showed us, was to take it from the mind, I gotta be in control, to the bigger, better, more houses, more cars, more boats, more this, more, to what's real. Does that make sense? Do you know that last week we were inundated with multiple solar flares? Multiple. So if you felt a little off in the last couple of weeks, I will tell you, it's because you're inundating that flow. If you feel like your life is in, be okay, breathe. It's moving out what it needs to get rid of to bring in what it needs to pull in. Does that make sense to you? So we can only move into a consciousness of love and compassion and kindness and giving is if we start letting go of the anger and the hate and the fear. We've got to let that go, where that will keep us anchored into the consciousness of mind, control, anger, rage, my way's the only way, you're bad, I'm right, you're wrong. And then we start living as a community again. A community of spiritually driven people who want to bring kindness, love, who have compassion for all walks of life, black, white, yellow, red, all animals, the two-leggeds, the four-leggeds, the multi-leggeds, the no-leggeds, the swimming nation, the standing nation, the flying nation, the star nation. We have compassion. And that's where we're moving. So I know it can be hard. And I know some of us, our lives are going through some serious shifts. Some things are dropping away that we're not so sure we want to drop away. You know, people might be losing their jobs or dealing with illnesses. I promise you it'll get better. I promise you. You're a light for others. Let your light shine. I'm going to end with the next couple of slides. Martin Luther King, love him. I thought he was visionary. Of course, why he was assassinated, but, you know. But do we want to remember him because he was assassinated, or do we want to remember him for what change that one person made, that one man made? And he says, never, never be afraid to do what's right, especially if the well-being of a person or animal is at stake. Society's punishments are small compared to the wounds we inflict on our soul, when we look the other way. The two pastors and the 90-year-old man that got arrested. Are we writing in letters? Even though we're here, we still can make a difference there. Are we saying that's not okay? Every spiritual book says what? What you do to the least of me, you do unto me. Doesn't it? If we're truly saying that we are living a spiritual life, we can't walk past these people. And not even if it's just a word. Do you know how many homeless people don't even get recognized? People won't look at them and say, hi, how are you? You may not have a dollar to give him or a sandwich to give her. You may not have that. But you always have kindness and love in your heart that you can give away, and it costs nothing. So don't be afraid. If you're standing in a crowd and they're all getting the mob mentality to do something bad, wrong, do not be afraid to stand up and say, wait a minute, because I promise you, the first person that does, it is a ripple effect, just like the first person that says, we should go lynch this person, and it's a ripple effect. As soon as one person starts, the other people say, yeah, no, we shouldn't do that. Martin Luther King also says, we must learn to live together as brothers and sisters, or perish together as fools. We can no longer keep saying, my country's better than your country, my religion's better than your religion, my belief system's better than yours, my financial institute's better than yours, the Navy's better than the Marines, that this is better than that. We must learn to walk in peace and harmony with all people in all walks, even if they believe differently than us. And that can be challenging at times. And the last thing I want you to leave with is to find your sacredness, to find your power, to open your gifts. It's found in the stillness of the mind and the opening of your higher heart. The mind and the heart. The Native American people say that there will come a time when the condor and the eagle fly together. The condor and the eagle are the split between the mind and the heart, and the split between the people. The people, the industrial people, and the spiritual people. And there will come a time when we all sit around the drum, and we all drum together, and we all sing together. I love you. I'm grateful you came today. And when I say I love you, it's not, oh, I love you. It is, I love you. I love that you took the time to be here. I know that sometimes I may say something that hurts or makes somebody think. It's not to make you think negative about yourself. It's to help you open and say, it's okay for me to let that go. I'm not my fear. I'm not my trauma. I'm not what I used to be. I'm not what I used to do. I'm not my situation right now. I am a child of the Creator, and that spark is in me, and I am powerful beyond words. I love you. I look forward to seeing you next time, or until our paths cross again. May you always walk with peace in your footsteps, gentle on the earth, and with love in your heart, and kindness on your lips. For yourself first and for all others. Aho.
Oh.